mixed livelihood is just part of every youth in Uganda, and they really actively participate in it. You know?
Yes, we find that all our respondents in both countries, practically all of them, they seek multiple income sources. There are many advantages to this research method, and the one that I want to highlight now is that the respondents actually really enjoy being part of the research. So, in fact, 97% of them said that they would highly recommend to other people to participate in such a research. So it's a very simple methodology, and it's actually quite easy to implement, quite straightforward, and the results are quite powerful.
Great, that's very interesting things already. 97% of them want to actually continue research. I mean, for everyone who's involved in research, that's a very high proportion. Can you explain how the peer-to-peer engagement works, and why is it so important to have young researchers involved in this project?
Using the youth to interview the youth will be very good, because it will go a long way to create a very good relationship between the respondent and the researcher. In that case, there's trust that is built between them. And so they're able to give information that they wouldn't have normally given if it's an older researcher. They will be comfortable to share information, because with an older researcher, maybe whatever information they're given, they may not feel comfortable to share it, because like where I come from in Ghana, it's not easy or common for a young person to share information about how he's able to generate finances, how he's able to make money with an elderly person.
Justine, I've heard these stories that the young researchers actually have WhatsApp groups in each country. And they use WhatsApp not just for fun, but actually for research. So can you explain what are these WhatsApp groups and how are you using them?
In Uganda, Ghana, people are really using WhatsApp to communicate and also to make our work lively. With the WhatsApp, we are in just like one country, because we easily communicate to many people at just a single moment, moreover at a very low cost.
What were some of the surprises? What were the things that you did not expect coming that you saw during these past 6 months?
One of them is the attitude of the youth towards agriculture. I thought in the rural areas where there are no other economic activities going on, I expected more youth to go into agriculture, to develop it, move from the old ways of farming into better ways of doing things. But we find out that most of them, interestingly, are not going to that direction. Most of the youth, you find out that they are doing a lot of things to survive, a lot of livelihood strategies they are taking to survive. But most of them are not learning them from school. They are learning these things from home and from their peers and from their colleagues. I thought most of them would have rather been learning this from schools to get more information, to be able to adopt it, to be able to get jobs. But these skills they are learning, these skills that they have, which is they are using to earn a living, they are really learning them from their homes, from their family, but not from school. So these are things that really surprised me when we got to the fold.
So we expected really a number of differences between the two countries, partly because of the countries and partly because of the level of income. And the surprising thing is that actually mostly we're finding the same patterns. So what Gabriel was just mentioning about people getting their skills from their parents, from other family members, or maybe from friends, we definitely see that in Uganda as well. And the other finding about the great challenges that women have compared to men, that having children is tying them to their home, and is actually just having the child makes employers think there's no point employing that woman. We see that very much in both countries. And the agricultural the attitude to agriculture is also remarkably similar. Actually, young persons across countries, across climatic zones, across regions are actually quite similar.
Justine, what does mixed livelihoods looks like in Uganda?
Mixed livelihood, just like Gabja has explained in Ghana, it's almost the same in Uganda, where you find that they look at agriculture as the main activity, but then they don't look at it as an income-generating job. It's looked at something which is everyone has to participate in for home consumption. Just its production is home consumption. Those are the rural youths. And they tend to concentrate on other activities for their daily earnings.
This issue of mixed livelihoods and what are the implications for programming and policy, especially taking into account this focus on just one thing, but also thinking about, how do we provide skills training in the scenario of a mixed livelihood? Like, what skills for which one of all the mixed livelihoods, and how do we choose the skills that are relevant to which livelihoods, right? So that's one big question.